And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going, everybody? Can you see me and can you hear me? How do I look and how do I sound? All right. Castillo Feria, welcome. Cheeseburger, welcome. So, today the Seahawks played a game that there isn't a whole hell of a lot to say about because the opposition they played is bad and uninspiring and not particularly competitive. So, the important thing is that they won and they did some things well. There is some credibility to this win. I am happy that we got it. I'm happy we did some of the things that we did. As for things that mean something, we may have found a little bit of life run blocking. I think we did a really good job run blocking in this game. On the right side of the line, behind Jake Curhan, who didn't play a great game by any stretch, but he did run block effectively. And if he has to continue to play going forward, at least we have that going for us, and that's important. That's going to be valuable. We got a little something going on there. Sidney Jones, I thought played another game. He picked up an unfortunate penalty, but other than that, I thought he played an effective quality game. I liked what I saw there. I think that Bobby Wagner had a good game, and I know that doesn't necessarily matter that much because Bobby is Bobby, and we all know what Bobby is, and it doesn't really need to be expanded upon, but it's cool to see him have good games because he is a good player. And those are the main things that I'm really taking away from this game because I have to be perfectly honest. I was a little disappointed in some of the things that I saw, and I think that if you are somebody who is holding on to playoff hopes, right, guy, thank you for the $1.99. Not gonna lie, this game was much closer than the score says. Yeah, it was, absolutely. And I'll get into some of that stuff as we go along here. Um, to me, this game did not do anything to indicate that we were going to be able to actually make that playoff push. Not the least of which is because we didn't really get enough help. We needed a little more help than we got. So I'm not feeling optimistic about that on either front. To me, the 49ers winning today was a blow. And frankly, even if we win out, I think there's about as good a chance that we miss as we make. So forget about that. I don't think it's I don't think it's worth talking about. I don't think it's worth talking about. So we're just going to talk about this game, and let me expand a little bit more on why I was a little disappointed in the game plan today. This game felt like Pete Carroll football. Pete Carroll football. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, shot play. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, chuck it deep. There was a little bit of short stuff here and there. We had a little bit of success, but not a lot. A lot of shot plays. A lot of stuff outside the numbers. And it worked because Houston's a bad team. It kind of worked. It didn't work that well, mind you, but it did work well enough for us to win. It worked well enough for us to put the game away in the fourth quarter. So I cannot help but be disappointed that you didn't use this game as a stepping stone. You basically had a free win. You could have done whatever you wanted to do in this game. And you chose to do the things that you know you've been doing for years instead of the things that you are trying to do going forward. This looked like a Pete Carroll game, not a Shane Waldron game. And that disappoints me because the Pete Carroll game is not going to beat the Rams this week. I can tell you that right now. I've seen that story before. I know how that movie ends. It ends with a lot of 3 and outs Your defense gets tired. And yeah, bad stuff happens. And defensively, while we did play really well, I think people need to realize something. 7 of the Texans' points came on the first drive, and we talk about all the time about opening drive scripts. A lot of teams, they go into the first 15 plays of a game with a script for exactly what they're going to do, and they are really good at doing those things because they spent all week working on it. So once you take that out, and then you also remember that one of the Texans' field goals came on a drive that was mostly the fault of special teams. You got to remember that that drive right before halftime was mostly because they had a big kick return. And you can see the issue. Austin Roberts, thank you for the member message. Nice to see us win. We still have our issues, though. Yeah, we do. We definitely do. Don't let the final score fool you too much. So anyway, that being said, on defense, we got very little pressure, I think. I was very upset. The only guy who was getting pressure today who impressed me was Darrell Taylor. Nothing else really stood out to me on that front. Darrell Taylor, he did good stuff. I think Rasheem Green got half a sack, so I guess he's playing okay, but not that impressed. And no turnovers. And I understand part of that is because we're sitting back in these soft zones and just kind of letting Davis Mills have stuff underneath. But it just makes me really, really depressed that you can't harass a guy like a Davis Mills into turning the ball over a couple times. However, we won. And we didn't look bad in all. We looked good in a few areas. We did some things well. With that being said, I'm going to start addressing comments. I'm going to open things up to questions. I will stream until the end of the Sunday Night Football game, which is, by the way, a pretty good game. I will reply to as many comments as possible, although I won't be able to reply to all of them because there are going to be a lot of people in here, already 65. If you have a comment you really want me to see and read and reply to, then send it in as a super chat, and I am guaranteed to see it and reply to it and respond to it. If you are a channel member, your comment is going to stand out to me more, so I'm more likely to see it. We have a tip jar to my left. Any super chats will show up there. You can also become a channel member by clicking the join button down below. You can also subscribe to the channel if you're new. So, let's go ahead and open her up. What happened with the defense in the second half? Houston's bad at everything, man. Once they stopped running scripted plays, nothing was really going that well. Thoughts on the refs in this game today? There were some bad calls both ways. I don't think they favored one team overly. We got a kind of weak, what was it, roughing the passer call at one point. Do you think we should bring back Rashad Penny just as depth next year? I mean, if you do, you better understand that you can't depend on him at all. He'd better be like your 5th string running back. He better be like... He better be somebody that you know is you expect to not be there. And that's the problem that I have. I don't want to waste roster spots like that. Like, he could run for 200 yards a game the rest of the season. It doesn't matter, guys. That does not change the fact that his availability is nil. The part that pissed me off was Russell forcing it to DK deep in double coverage after the previous play was called back. Yeah. I could... Am I crazy? Or could I feel the negative energy coming off DK because he hasn't popped a big game lately? He kind of had a big game today because of the PI calls that he drew. Like if you include those, he had a big game, but he I can kind of feel the negative energy coming from DK right now. Is that am I just imagining things? I can feel like something's about to happen. We want Chicago to win, honestly. Well, they rested Collins last week. Oh, DK's not going to get Lockett money. DK's going to get way more than Lockett money. DK's going to get like Julio money, man. What do we need to do if we want to beat the Rams? I don't think we're going to win no matter what if we can't get some pressure. And the last couple games, we haven't gotten very much pressure outside of a little bit of Rasheem Green and a little bit of Daryl Taylor. No, I don't think DK leaves in free agency. He wants to get paid now, like everyone else in the world does, and we're the only team that can pay him now. The problem is it's hard to work DK into the offense in a way that makes sense when we're playing Pete ball, which is just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, shot play. If it was like pass, 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 then you could work DK into things. If we okay, I'm gonna say this about the playoffs real quick. If we win out, we have about a 50% shot of getting in. If we win out, we have about a 50% chance. It depends on what other teams do. Who will be our left tackle next year? Well, if it's not Armstead, then I want it to be somebody like a Taylor Decker, maybe George Fant, or if he impresses, like crazy impresses, I'm not completely closing the door on Stone Forsyth. Did you see a difference with Jamal out? I think I did, mostly earlier in that game. But guys, the Texans aren't good at anything. You guys got to understand that. What's the probability we were hiding a lot of our game plans so the Rams don't know how we are going to utilize? I don't buy it. We played that game last year, and look what happened. We didn't hide nothing. Wilson basically said, yeah, we're hiding stuff. We're not going to show our cards until we play the Rams. And then we played the Rams and didn't do nothing. Hey, Brendon, did you believe Russ when he said he wants to play for in Seattle for 20 more years? Not really. I think that he know. I mean, it would certainly be easier for him to stay here than go somewhere else, right? That's easier. But I think he's somewhat indifferent to it. What center do we replace Posick with next year? I like Austin Corbett, but you're gonna have to spend some money on this stuff. Well, that's the problem with running it back with Wilson. If you run it back with Wilson, then it's so easy to talk yourself into, okay, well, now we need to keep Waldron. And if we keep Waldron, we need to keep Carroll. If we keep Carroll, we need to keep Schneider. And then we got to keep. It's like, okay, now you're just keeping everybody. So that's the thing. Once you start down that conversational line, it becomes like, okay, well, now we have to keep everybody. Cheeseburger Man, I'm not a fan of paying big money to cornerbacks. I don't like that. I'm not a fan. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. Don't believe these people when they say stuff like that. Most of the time, it's what they say. They have to say it. Look, cornerbacks are so situational. Like, look at what we have this year, guys. Go look up how much money DJ Reed and Sidney Jones are making combined this year, and those guys are doing a good job playing corner. Like, why would I want to pay one player 4 times what I'm paying Sidney and DJ combined? I don't think Disley does more than Everett. I think that Disley's a good player, but he's more of a blocker at this point. What are you talking about, Silver Ace? I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, Cheeseburger, but that wasn't because we were cheap on those guys. That's because we were wrong on those guys. We're also cheap with DJ Reed and Sidney Jones, but those guys are good. The goal is not to spend a lot of money. The goal is to get guys who are actually good or can play within this system. I think Trey Flowers could go somewhere else and have some success. What pieces of the O-line can we keep for next year? Mostly it's just the guards. By the way, Ugo's not that bad. Ugo's not good, but I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's like a problem or nothing. Well, hopefully you're right, Daniel. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm tired of just assuming that that crap is true. What do you mean, Austin WK? A roster analysis vid for how we are playing now? What are you looking for there exactly? Amari Taylor, I'm still leaning that way because it's so hard to get rid of this other stuff if you don't trade Wilson. Like keeping. Oh, okay, Silver Ace, I see. I mean, we've known that is the thing, okay? Wilson said he would last year in the offseason. The issue is, did he say it again in the middle of the year when we're trying to win games to save the season? And I don't think he would do that. Should we pay Diggs? I wouldn't. Well, King Prodigy, you've got you. Jones is going to be cheap, and Brown's under contract for another 3 years. I think Reed's gone, honestly. Oh, I see what you're saying, Austin WK. I think DJ's going to be too expensive to keep. He's having a really good year. Smoking Sunny D, that's fine. That's not a consideration. Next year's going to be a punt year anyway. Yeah, we're going to be bad next year, but honestly, we might be bad with Wilson. Right, guy, thank you for the 4.99. Guys, you need to realize you can't throw money at everything that moves. That's what the Washington has been doing since Snyder bought them. Often true. But we're kind of on the opposite extreme, right, guy? We don't throw money at anything. It's time to start throwing some money at things. So you're comfortable with the Jones and Brown cornerback duo if we stay with Pete Carroll. If we do not, if we move on from Carroll and bring in a 3-4 defense or a man defense or any defense that isn't a zone defense, I don't think Sidney's the guy. Sidney is a zone corner, I think. Yeah, Phil Haynes got in on the last series, man. Good for him. Replace Dunlap. You need to replace his production. But he's going to cost about the same if you keep him or cut him. So you can't necessarily just cut him. Now, you might anyway because he's just taking up space, but it's not it's not that easy. Akil Marie Brooks. Brooks replaces Bobby. Daniel, that's something I'll think about in the off season. I'm pretty indifferent to that. Like, whatever. If we do it, we do it. Then who takes Brooks' spot and somebody new? You got to find a will linebacker who can cover. Jordan Brooks cannot cover, and he showed it again today. On that first drive, he looked like a doofus trying to cover down the field. Find a will linebacker who can cover competently. Let Brooks play middle. That's another reason why Bobby needs to get the hell out of here. Look, I'm not discussing the Schultz report anymore. It's already basically been proven as false. The Rappaport thing is not an equivalent report. Might be a little different. Adam Schefter also said that he believed that Wilson would be able to waive his trade clause. That doesn't mean anything. No, I don't think Bobby has trade value. Not any real trade value. He's old. He's making a ton of money. He mostly is just a tackle farmer. He farms tackles like John Cena farms social credit. So I don't think there's a lot of demand for players like that. KJ, no. Can we get something new? I'm tired. No. Stop running it back with these guys who were good 5 years ago. KJ Wright can barely get on the field for the Raiders. Did you see him in coverage against the Chargers in that one game? No. No, thank you. Oh, absolutely, Daniel. That's absolutely true. He is making some business decisions. Bobby's starting to make some business decisions. Like Rob Stanton calls him out on this sometimes, and people get butthurt because they don't like people saying mean things about Bobby. But no, it's time to move on. Robert Henry, thank you for the $9.99. Here's to 2 in a row, and Russ being 3-0 versus Texans, still White Pill, and bye to Carroll and Penny, and possibly Schneider. It's becoming more likely. Unfortunately, it's also becoming more likely that you keep people like Carroll. So that's just something we're going to have to deal with when the offseason swings around. Oh, fumble! Fat man with football. That's cool, Edie. It was not a bad game to go to. There were probably more Seahawks fans in that stadium than Texans fans. Well, I think Cheeseburger Man, the right way to do things would be to bring in a new coach slash GM and let him make the decision. Does he want to keep Wilson or not? Well, Ken Norton is just a figurehead smoking Sunny D. It's Pete's defense. Pete's the reason why we do the things that we do at the end of the day. Pete is the reason why we play the run first on the defensive line. Pete is the reason why we play cover 3 zone all the time. Okay, I see. Bringing up one play when we have 3 years worth of evidence that Bobby doesn't really make plays anymore is not helping. I can point to about 3,000 plays over the last couple years where Bobby doesn't do anything other than farm tackles. By the way, some of those tackles are already 6, 7, 8 yards down the field. So what's the use? Okay, is that some great play when you let the running back run for 8 yards and then tackle him? No. That's all Bobby did in 2019. His average depth of tackle was like 5 yards down the field. He got better last year, but yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Pete manages to talk his way out of it. But it really depends on how the end of this season goes. We've got 4 games left. They still got something to play for. And even if they don't, they're going to at least keep trying. No, we play Jamal at linebacker sometimes. That's not a bad idea, but you can't do it all the time. Like, somebody up above said, let's go get KJ Wright. How about we find the next KJ Wright? How about we draft a linebacker who's going to be good? Let's find the next KJ Wright. Don't bring back the old KJ Wright who's slow and can't stay on the field for more than a few plays at a time and is, just a situational player. I mean, I was ready for a change when we were winning. I'm sure as hell ready for a change now that we've started losing. I look, kicking is random. That's why you don't pay kickers. Just go with a random kicker for $1 million a year. Yeah, guys, go look at Bobby's coverage metrics. They're not terrible or anything, but go look at how many times per game Bobby usually gets targeted in coverage. They target him over and over and over again. They would not be doing that if they didn't think it was worth their time. Mass, that's a good quote. Yeah, what happened to that? Is Cody Barton still on this team? Yeah, no more. Yeah, let's cut back on the old players, okay? Let's get something new. If Bobby is willing to take a massive pay cut, I would consider it, but honestly, I don't want him back even then. Okay, Bodine, that's like the one kicker who doesn't make it random. Everyone else, sometimes they're up here, sometimes they're down here. From year to year, just don't pay him big money. Unless you get Justin Tucker. If you get a Justin Tucker, then of course you have to reconsider. But if you don't, it's not good enough. Here's the problem. If you keep Bobby, Jordan Brooks has to keep playing out of position. Jordan Brooks is a middle linebacker. You got to let him play some middle linebacker. It's honestly kind of bad that we've had him play outside for the last 2 years. Let's can we get off that? We need to see him at his natural position so we can make some judgments on him. It's going to be we don't want to do the Ethan Posick crap again, okay? We drafted Ethan Posick and then we played him at guard for 3 seasons. And by the time we actually played him at center, he was in the final year of his rookie deal. He played okay. We decided to bring him back. He's still just okay. It's Obi-Wan, there are some guys in the draft that I briefly looked at and kind of liked, but it also depends on what kind of defense we play. What's the max amount of money I would pay for Diggs? I don't know, but we can't spend that much money at safety. I can't do it. Yeah. The Niners winning today, I kind of feel like means the party's over. Officially, if we win out, we have about a 50% chance of getting in. That's how bad it is. So I'm not even thinking playoffs right now, really. Thoughts on Curhan? He was a great run blocker, but he kind of has me shook. I'm kind of shook about Curhan right now. I'm scared. We can't trade Jamal. It costs more money to get rid of him than it does to keep him. Cur- um, like if Curhan keeps playing like this, we might bring him back next year as the starter at right tackle because Pete's going to see his run blocking and be like, "Oh, that's good. I like that." Meanwhile, he can't pass block, so Wilson gets killed again. Like that's a realistic possibility. I don't want that, okay? Curhan, he can play, good run blocker. I appreciate that. I respect that. But I need a guy who can hold up in pass protection. So if we keep Wilson, he don't get killed. And if we don't keep Wilson, the next quarterback doesn't get killed. Will we bring back Penny? Maybe. But if we do, we can't bring him back in an important role. We have to bring him back as a guy who we understand is just a luxury player. Oh, Curhan played bad in the Niners game. I know that. But he was playing out of position. Curhan is a right tackle, guys. He was playing his natural position today, and he didn't look awful. Now, I don't think he looked good, but at least he did something well. At least he knew how to run block. And look, this team needs some run blocking right now. The run blocking has been trash, so that's not a miss. I'm not mad about that. Come on, Jimmy. A little smooch. I don't agree with that at all. I do not agree with that sentiment whatsoever. I think it's very easy for us to win out and not get in. Like, one of the wild card spots is pretty much locked up. We know the Rams are going to get in. Niners have a 2-game lead on us. Atlanta now has a 1-game lead on us, I think. We're tied with Carolina. Like we need so much stuff to happen. I just feel like a doofus even talking about it. Well, look, I don't think we can keep DJ Reed if we get rid of Carroll. DJ Reed and Sidney Jones are both guys who work really well in Carroll's defense, but I don't think they would work that well in any other D. So I think we need to reboot the corner room at least somewhat. We can build around Trey Brown. Maybe a guy like an Ugo Amadi would be okay there. I don't know. But we're going to need cornerback help if we bring in a new coach. This is what I'm saying. This rebuild is going to take some time. And, we got some people out there who are just like, oh, keep Wilson, get rid of Carroll, and everything will be fixed. It's not that simple. Getting rid of Carroll means you got to get rid of some of these players, too, that are his players. DJ Reed, Sidney Jones, probably Bobby Wagner, too. It's not just you get rid of Carroll and magically everything's great. Okay, this whole roster is built by him. Yeah, I know, JS. Like Tennessee, guys, we were up 24-9 on the Titans. 24-9 on the Titans at half. And the offense hadn't even played that good. And we lost that game. You win that game, we have a completely different conversation. No, DJ Bodine, Lynchfield, DJ Reed, and Sidney Jones are great. They're holding up with no pass rush. If they had a pass rush, they'd be balling. They're balling as is, honestly. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. And it's not like our defense is bad. I'll bet we have a top 5 scoring defense right now, but they don't get any pressure. They average like one forced turnover a game, I think. Like, these are things they could be doing to actually push the team over the finish line, and they don't do them. These things are connected, by the way. Yeah, JS, that Minnesota game, I think that was the worst game our defense has ever played under Carroll. Like, if they could get a turnover every now and then and set the offense up in the red zone, imagine how much easier that would make these games. Well, the Packers are who we thought they were, I guess. By the way, don't forget that Colt McCoy kind of killed us in a game that we absolutely had to win. Okay? This defense ain't that good. Chris Snape, Carroll is the reason why we have a bad pass rush. He makes the defensive linemen play differently than every other coach. Me and Hawksnest talk about this sometimes. That's the thing. Like, I thought our defensive line was going to be really good this year, but almost everybody on this defensive line has underachieved. Why? Why do you think that is? Did they all forget how to rush the passer? No. The coaching is doing something to them. That's just common sense. Like Carlos Dunlap went from one of the best pass rushers in the league last year to complete basically a blocking sled this year. Why did that happen? It's because we make our defensive linemen play differently than other teams make their defensive linemen play. We have our defensive linemen play run first. That's it's not good in the modern NFL. Me and the Hawks Nest talk about this sometimes in our streams. We are the only team in the league that instructs our defensive linemen to play run first. Every other team, apparently, says get to the quarterback first. I don't think we had pressure against them, Cheeseburger Man. I think we had a little bit, but not. We'll see what the numbers bear out, but I was not impressed with the pass rush at all in that game. And even if I was, it doesn't matter. It's Houston. Well, no, Chris Snape. I'm applying, like, common sense. Did everybody on this team forget how to pass rush at the same time? No. Dunlap has built his whole career around getting after the quarterback, and suddenly now he can't do it? Alton Robinson looked good last year. Suddenly he's not worth playing? I don't know about Monet yet. Well, yeah, on like obvious passing downs, they might rush to get to the quarterback, but on neutral downs, they are playing run first. Every other team in the league is playing pass first. Me and Hawksnest talk about this sometimes. And when you really listen to it, when you really think about it, it becomes very aggravating. Well, this is not great. Packers are starting to pull away a little bit. I see we're 5-8. There's nothing to be happy about right now. If you're happy, then good for you. I guess you don't really care about this team that much. If we didn't stop the run, it would be like the first 6 games last year. Teams didn't run the ball against us last year because we were so bad against the pass. What are you talking about? Teams basically didn't even try to run the ball on us because they knew they'd get everything they wanted against our secondary. Yeah, exactly, JS. I think a lot of it is. Like, we have a lot of players we're rotating in and out on that defensive line trying to rush the passer. How can they all be, like, worse than expected? That's statistically improbable. Um, I think we're actually rooting for the Bears in this game, but it doesn't matter that much. Well, I think we know the answer to that, Cheeseburger Man. Okay, we got 150 people in here right now, abouts. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today to the stream. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Super chat donations show up in the tip jar and help keep the channel going and are appreciated. And you can become a channel member by clicking the join button down below. Well, Michael, those guys were super. Who's Bernard? You mean Rocky Bernard? Was Rocky Bernard still here when we had Carroll? Is that Yeah, Rocky Bernard was gone by the time Carroll got here, right? I know what you mean, JS, but if we had embarrassed that game, if we had lost that game today, that would have been embarrassing. Now, granted, it would have been embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing anyway, and it would have been embarrassing in a way that maybe gets Carroll out of here. James Larson, I don't think we saw very much Waldron stuff today at all. I didn't think we saw Waldron at all today. I think this was all Pete ball. Run, 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 shot play. Run, 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 shot play. That was the main thing that disappointed me in this game. Could Penny have a future? His body, like if you do keep him, he can't be somebody that you depend on at all. Oh, Reed. Okay, Michael. Well, I think those guys were better than what we have right now in terms of talent. Like those guys, like Michael Bennett. I mean, I don't like the dude. I think he's a moron for obvious reasons. The dude is a clown, but he was prodigiously talented, man. And I think they had more freedom to just go get the quarterback. Like last year when we brought in Dunlap, I think that we were just saying, okay, there's the quarterback, go get him, right? And now this year, you watch Dunlap play, we're dropping him into coverage a few times a game, and we know he hates that. Isaac, he should be calling the plays, but today's game looked exactly like Schottenheimer ball, or if you prefer, Pete Carroll ball to me. Like that looked like Pete Carroll ball. Run, 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 shot play, outside the numbers. There was very little of anything else. And I know Wilson can do that stuff, and I know we can do it to beat a terrible team like we did today. Yeah, Chris McGoey. Well, you see, did you guys see the pick six that Cam Newton threw today? That was on a play where a defensive lineman dropped into coverage on the Falcons, right? Like other teams do it, and the other offense doesn't see it coming. We never do anything like that. They never just throw it right at the dude. It never works. Akil Marie, that would be hard, but it's not impossible. I mean, hey Jordan. Well, Brandon, our play as far as I'm concerned, our playoff odds went down today, so people should stop thinking that. It was more likely we were going to make the playoffs yesterday than right now. We needed the Niners to lose, they didn't. So, I'm not even really thinking about that right now. Probably Michael, yeah. Um and even then he might want to hire his own dude, but it's at least possible. Yeah, Heslop messed up his leg. Do you think Lockett's the best receiver in the league? No. In Uniro, get the hell out of here, dude. What is wrong with you? I would take Kyle Shanahan, Derpy Squid, if he became available, but he's not going to be available because the Niners are playing good, so moot point. I mean, there's the thing. I mean, like, forget everything else for a second here. If you move on from Waldron this offseason, then Wilson is going to have to spend next year learning a new playbook, a new system, a new hand signals, new little stuff like that. And next year's going to be a struggle again. So you're wasting another year, and it's just That's the main reason why I want to keep Waldron. I feel like you're already kind of stuck waist deep in the dirt with him. Let's not let that year go to waste. Let's find out if this guy can actually be good. Let's find out if this an extra year in the Waldron system might actually allow him to do some of the things that he needs to do. I mean, if the only thing we do this off season is fire Waldron and then we bring everything else back, then Pete's just getting another scapegoat. Same for Norton, by the way. I know you guys tell me, like, hey, Norton, 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 Norton. Norton would just be another Pete Carroll scapegoat. Oh, fumble. No, he got it back. Jake, what do you mean? We have one of the worst offenses in the league, generally speaking, over this season. I mean, the defense has played bad games, but defenses play bad games. Wilson has no leg to stand on to blame this defense. Like, I don't know what you're trying to get at there. Yeah, he can make it happen, but is it likely? Like, go look at what Matt Ryan did his first year under Kyle Shanahan, then go look at year two. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Chris Magooey. That's exactly what I'm saying. Nothing's really going to change. It's just a scapegoat. It's just like Pete saying, okay, this guy was the problem. I'm going to get him out here and everything's going to be good. Then he's probably going to hire his kid to run the offense. I don't really want to re-sign Diggs, and Neal played fine. Yeah, I mean the defense has had a couple bad games, but it's not playing bad overall. I don't think it's really that good, but it's not bad. Oh, he didn't get his feet in. No, he didn't. Jake, I'm not even sure what you're trying to argue. Of course they're gonna try. Like, any more tautologies you want to lay on me there? Of course they're gonna try. Every team in the league tries. Kyle Shanahan has made Jimmy Garoppolo look good. Yeah, that's a good point from David though. The defense should not have taken a month to be good. That's absolutely true. But overall, the defense has been decent this year. I think if you look at the body of work, it's been decent. Yeah, that's another thing, Tommy. Who do you think Carroll is going to hire? He's going to hire his kid. Yeah, he's going to hire his kid. He's going to hire Dave Canales. Jake, that's not an argument. That's just you saying something. I can say whatever I want to say, actually. And what I will say is that I think it's likely that you will have a year of severe growing pains because that is common sense. Most teams are not great the first year in a new offensive system. Even the great Aaron Rodgers did not look good his first, or well, he looked okay his first year under LaFleur, and then the next year he won MVP. So I think it's only logical to assume that there will be massive growing pains if you bring in another offense. Like we saw this happen with Alex Smith. He got a new offensive coordinator 7 straight years when he started in the NFL, and it killed him. It destroyed him. They could not give him a long-term offensive coordinator, and it completely destroyed him. He didn't become a decent quarterback until he got some stability with Andy Reid. So this whole musical chairs crap with the offensive coordinator, it's not good for a quarterback. Of course, Mitch's satire. Brooks is horrible against screens. Well, I mean, he's never really going to be a good coverage player. We know that already. Stop putting him in those situations. That's my. That's what I'm thinking. Well, that's all we got, Jake. We got to start somewhere. Otherwise, it's just random dart throwing. So if there was a way to get Carroll out and all this other stuff out and then find a head coach who would be cool with keeping the new offense, that would be something that I'd be interested in. Move Brooks to Sam, let Barton play Will. Well, Barton's pretty bad too. Barton kind of sucks too, but I mean the actual answer is to let Brooks play middle linebacker next year, but not ready. I think Kellen Moore could be ready to become a head coach. I mean, no guarantees, but you're going to have to take a risk, guys. Don't be afraid to take risks. All right, at a certain point, you're going to have to take risks. Sometimes I see a lot of people in my comment sections who are so risk averse, like they never want to take the risk. Okay, yes, hiring Kellen Moore is a risk. Trading Russell Wilson's a risk. But keeping him is too. It's just a risk that you're a little more familiar with. No, pretentious Cameron. Not at all. Not at all. Not even close. Nothing that Carroll does over these next few games is going to make me okay with keeping him. Nothing. Because it's not just what happens on the field, it's the drafts. We haven't had a good draft in like 8 years. And Carroll's a big reason why. Yeah, yeah, Kronos. Starting Russell Wilson over Matt Flynn was a risk. Now, sometimes the risks you take don't pay off, but don't be afraid to take them, okay? Because not taking a risk is also a risk in its own way. Keeping Wilson would be a risk. Keeping Carroll would be a risk. Keeping Norton would be a risk. All these things would be a risk. Well, if we go to the Super Bowl, of course we're not going to fire the head coach. Like, I get it. Like, if the results on the field are that good, then of course. But we can't draft. Well, yeah, Jordan. And the thing is, those fans who complain when we don't go for it on fourth down also say we should have kicked a field goal if we don't get the fourth down. Like there are some Seahawks YouTubers who will make videos saying, "Oh, why do we go for it on 4th and 1? We could have kicked a 68-yard field goal with our shitty kicker. Why? Why didn't we kick the like?" As if the field goal has like 100% chance of going in. Like you got to take risks sometimes. Like I've seen videos of Seahawks fans who say, "Oh, Jason Myers sucks. He's awful. He missed this kick. He missed that kick. I blame him for this loss." And then they're like, "Pete, why didn't you kick the field goal on fourth down? Why'd you go for it? You just said the kicker sucks. You just answered your own question." Um, Christopher Standard Time, just because Wilson said that that report was false, which I think that it was, does not mean that he will not look for a trade this offseason. Like, he could want to trade, but he's not going to bring it up in the middle of the season. Like we're trying to play games right now. He should not be bogging the team down with that kind of garbage. Pretty much ADO Williams. Have we looked at GM candidates? The only one I know of is Lewis Riddick. Some people are talking him up, but I don't know a lot about him. I don't look at stuff like that. It's usually just somebody from like the Patriots or the Chiefs pipeline or the Saints pipeline. No, what Wilson needs is another Super Bowl, not Lockett. He'll trade Lockett for another Super Bowl if he feels like he can get it. Yeah, Marie, I think you could. If a team feels like they're a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl, they'll do whatever it takes to get that QB. I don't want Chandler Jones. I feel like he's ready to fall off a cliff. I think Wilson would be pretty good on the Broncos if they can keep building that offensive line. It's just a really difficult division to maneuver. Dave Chamberlain, welcome to the channel. I don't want Russ to go to the Saints. They don't have enough capital. What QB would we replace Russ with if we trade him? We'll figure that out in 2023 because next year will be a punt. I mean, the dream trades are still Philly and New York. JC Jackson's going to be expensive. Too expensive for me. I don't want that. Pass. Well, good for you, J.R. Chadwick. I found it too, but it doesn't matter because if we lose to the Rams, I don't want to hear a word about the playoffs. I'll tell you guys that right now. Well, JS, he did work in the Eagles scouting department for like 7 or 8 years, I think. No, I don't want Chandler Jones. I feel like he we would be the sucker team that gives him his last big contract before he Dunlaps it. That seems like a sucker signing to me. Patriots wouldn't do that. Why would they trade Mac Jones for Wilson? They got a guy who looks like he's going to be good for 10, 15 years, 12, 15 years. And I think they're perfectly happy to try to win over the next few years with a rookie quarterback contract instead of paying Wilson 35 mil a year. Should we release Dunlap next year? I think there's a pretty good chance of that. Oh, come on, Justin Fields. That guy's right in front of you. I mean, the Giants are so bad. They would kill, I think, for any chance of relevance. And Wilson provides a little bit of relevance at least. At least he would make things interesting. Right now, the New York Giants are not even remotely interesting. I don't know about Justin Fields, man. I know he's got talent. I know he does some things. I don't know about him. I don't know what I think of him yet. Wow, the Bears are punting on 4th and inches here? Wow. That is an unbelievable decision. Oh! Oh! They actually got... It worked! But do you want Jones? I don't know. No, Trevor Lawrence is still good. No, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the dude. He's not going to be the dude there. Let's can we walk this back a little bit? He's his head coach is literally a sexual offender that the team refuses to fire. His head coach is literally a Bill Clinton level rapist. Can we ease up on Trevor Lawrence for 2 seconds? Oh my god, are you kidding me? They took it away? I hope this referee gets his ass beat. You just took away the coolest play, well, not the coolest play of the night, because of some formation penalty. Oh, is that even a good call? Like he's being held the whole way down the field. Like what? What's he supposed to do? Either Lawrence is going to be out of there or Jacksonville manages to put together a team around him that makes him feel a little better. No, right, guy. Didn't you hear the new stories coming out of Jacksonville? Apparently, he calls like Daryl Bevel and Brian Schottenheimer idiots and gets in fights with his players. Like, it's the most toxic coach I've ever seen. It's the most toxic situation I've ever seen in my life. Was it just me, or was that a bad call? Like, why was there a flag on the Bears on that play? I don't get it. Hey, Daryl Bevel is a Super Bowl champion. Thank you, Trevor R. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. You know, I've only seen two football games in my life that I thought were rigged. One of them was the Packers Lions in 2019, and the other one was today Patriots Bills. I am convinced both those games were rigged. So if I see another one in this game, I'm going to have to make some videos to get me shot in the back of the head. Oh, okay, Devin. I didn't see that part. The Patriots got like four question. It's not the Patriots. The Bucks. The Buccaneers. Like four straight questionable calls to keep them in the game against the Bills. Yeah, Bills Tampa. My bad. My bad, JS. Like if I'm Sean McDermott, I show up to the game next week on the sideline with no pants or underwear on. I just coach the whole game with no pants or underwear on. The most rigged game I've ever seen is still Packers Lions in 2019. That is the most rigged game I have ever seen in my life. Except for that was like the soccer game in victory with Pele against the Nazis. There were a couple bad calls in that game, Cheeseburger, but I didn't feel like that game was rigged. Um, they kept giving Diggs like a no calls on pretty obvious PI and holding. Then they gave one to God, who was it? Was it Gronk? And then God, there were like four really bad calls in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter plus OT. Yeah, Michael, I'm open to that possibility. I think Everett's a good player. He doesn't look totally comfortable in this offense yet, but that's he's not the only one. I noticed that too, Cheeseburger. The thing is, that goes for like every pass rusher. The thing is, Disley's going to be super cheap, and he's familiar here. You may as well keep him. Well, yeah, pretentious Cameron. Obviously, that's true, but it's not like Wilson's going to play forever anyway. At some point, you're going to have to find a new franchise QB. Maybe it should be now instead of in 5 years. I might Jordan M. I might not. I don't know. I don't know if I get enough out of it, man. Like I did one last year, and like not that many people showed up. I don't think. There wasn't like a huge outpouring of new subscribers, or there weren't a bunch of new members. Like it wasn't all that big. Yeah, Urban will get a job in college football. He's good at that. Yeah, but whatever, it happens, right? Like that's we've seen Gerald. This is Everett's fifth year in the league, and he's never had a game like that before. So we can safely say that game's kind of a fluke. You know what I mean? Yeah, that sounds about right to me, Michael. But the problem is, it does kind of depend on what you do this off season. Are you going to keep the coaches, fire the coaches? If you bring in new coaches, they might not be into Everett. It's possible. So that's the concerning thing there. But I don't mind the idea. I don't mind it. Yes, Big Kid Gaming, we do. Pretentious Cameron, no. He just wants to win, but he doesn't totally understand how to express that desire yet. I remember Javon Curse. Um, Daryl Taylor could break the rookie record for a Seahawk, but he's not going to get Rookie of the Year over Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is basically guaranteed to get that. Maybe Step Bro. I don't agree, JS. I think you can blow up and keep a few guys, and DK's one of them. He's still young and has a ton of good stuff in front of him. You can blow up and keep DK if he's willing to stick around for a bad year, maybe two. But honestly, I think it could only be one. No, I don't watch Norbcam. I met him before, but I don't watch him. Yeah, Daryl Taylor isn't a rookie anyway. Even if he was, he would not beat Micah Parsons, who's basically Lawrence Taylor over there. Pretentious Cameron, welcome to the membership club, buddy. Welcome to the club, Pretentious Cameron. I don't know if you were a member before or this is your first time, but either way, welcome. I think we need a couple more members, and we will be able to do another emoji. Yeah, Parsons might win Defensive Player of the Year. Well, yeah, this game's about to get out of hand. Yawn. Yeah, Parsons is nuts. I don't know how he does it, man. I thought he was just a tackle farming Middle linebacker type, honestly. Odds of us getting another year of Ken Norton? If we keep Carroll, I think we probably will. Carroll thinks Norton is really good, and he's not the only one. I want to be fair here. There are people in the Seahawks fandom who think Ken Norton is great. Matty F. Brown on Twitter thinks that Norton is doing an awesome job this year. Like he's not joking. He will actually spend time breaking down why he thinks Norton is really good. Lockett might make the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I can dig it. I mean, look, I know that Matty F. Brown is smart. Like, if you listen to him talk, if you read the things he says, he knows what he's talking about. But, like, I can't take his pro Carroll stuff that seriously. It's hard to take seriously. Robert Henry, I don't think Curhan can be a guard at all. I think he's purely a right tackle. Curhan at guard, I think, is a disaster. He can't move enough, and he doesn't get leverage. He needs to be a right tackle. like Curhan is best at right tackle. I think that's probably the only position he has any chance in at the NFL. See you later, Cassio. Cheeseburger, I'm going to. Almost certainly not JS, but we can still win. We don't have to shut people down. We just need to contain them and not let them single handedly beat us. I mean, honestly, the last time we played the Rams earlier this year, the defense held up for most of the game, and then they melted down at the end, and it's not okay, but I think they got tired because the offense kept going three and out. Yes, Emmett, I'm almost definitely going to do some Persona tonight. Michael, Jim Harbaugh, I'm not nuts about that. I'm not sure if he's the guy. To me, Jim Harbaugh is a guy who can take over a team that has already got all the talent and then make that team do great things. But I don't know if he can build a team. He didn't prove that to me yet. Dixon is the MVP of the Seahawks team. The thing is, Dixon provides so little value to us sometimes because our defense will just let the other team go 99 yards after he pins them at the one. First and goal for the Packers, so much for this. Emmett, I've had enough of playing people out of position. Well, honestly, Wilson didn't get sacked once until he busted his finger. He actually, the offensive line held up in pass protection in that game, is the thing. I don't know, Berg's show. Yeah, yeah, Michael, I've had that thought too. I've had that thought too. Well, I mean, I feel good about the Rams game because whatever. It's like bring it on. I don't care. Like if we lose, then at least I won't have to deal with people asking me about some 0.2% chance of the playoffs anymore. Well, JS, it's a dome game, right? So here's my question. So here's my question. Who do we play at right tackle if Shell's healthy next week? Shell or Curhan? Because I think Curhan did some good things today, but he also did some bad things. So I watched the first Matrix a couple nights ago, and then I watched Reloaded yesterday to get ready for the new one. That is some bullshit. Well, Aaron Donald doesn't line up against the right tackle. Well, Cheeseburger Man, we got to come up with the right game plan against the. We got to come up with the right game plan against the Bears. Okay, so I got a question for everybody in the chat, and this is just kind of a frivolous thing for fun. But I want everybody to let me know what you guys think in the comment in the chat right now. I'm going to ask this question. Everyone answer it. Who had a better report, Wilson to Baldwin or Wilson to Lockett? I'm not in the chat right now, so I'm not going to do a poll. Wow, a lot of people saying Lockett. Uh, Baldwin was sick, but it only lasted a couple years. I actually think it was I would take Baldwin, man. I would take Baldwin. It's close though. He's made it a conversation. But Baldwin for a year and a half was legitimately a top 5 receiver. Okay, touchdown Packers by the way. Ripperino Cappuccino. Okay, so it seems like most people think it's Lockett. He's made it very interesting, hasn't he? He's really got that report. Nobody got open better than Baldwin, with the exception of Antonio Brown. He ran crisp routes. It really sucks that Baldwin's career ended early. Yes, we are in garbage time. And it was so cool with Baldwin too because you saw him. The first couple years of his career, he wasn't anything, and then suddenly he was one of the best receivers in the league. Yeah, exactly, Mike P. That's what I was saying. Our chances went down, not up. Michael, we can't trade Tyler. The dead cap hit if we trade Tyler is massive. Cannot do it. Not an option. He's not going anywhere. Well, I said report, right, Tommy? I said report. Like, I I don't know. That report was really solid for a while there. Okay, so the Sunday night game is going to be over soon. So when the game ends, I will be getting out of here and I'll do some stuff and come back on Persona. So if you guys want to watch me play Persona, then just stick around for a little bit. I'll jump on and I'm probably going to do story heavy stuff tonight. But yeah, this stream's only going to be on for like another 10-15 minutes. So any last second donations you want to make to support the channel, go ahead and do it now. If you want to sub, now's the time. Become a member, now's the time. Any comments you want to get in, now's the time. No, not tonight, Emmett. Yeah, I think you would get 3 first round picks for Russ if you chose to trade him. Like, remember those plays where Baldwin would just beat his guy off the line of scrimmage and get wide open in the corner of the end zone on like those little fades? I think he did it against the Rams one time. Um, Baldwin, Curse, Tate, or Tyler, DK, and Swain. Probably Tyler, DK, Swain's probably better, honestly. Yeah, I am ready too, JS, but I'm watching these last several games, trying to figure out where we go. I mean, today's game did not move me. We were playing the Texans, and I saw old Wilson. I didn't see the Wilson we got against the Niners. I saw the Wilson we had years ago. No, I don't think so, Charisma. I think those guys get along pretty well. Paul Richardson had some moments, though. Not a terrible player. Too bad. Too bad. I can think of worse picks. Unfortunately, I can think of worse picks than that. Hmm. No, our drafting got worse because Carroll wasn't as invested, wasn't as plugged into the college game. Yeah, if Philly wants to give us a pick for Bobby Wagner, I'm all over that. I love that. Yeah, Gary Jennings was a really bad pick. Not necessarily in utero. I could see it all going. Rogers, I could see Rogers going to Denver, I guess, if I had to guess, but I don't know. Could be a lot of different things. Yeah, I saw that cheeseburger. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $2. As Baldwin put it, he would route them up. Yeah, he ran incredible routes. The only guy who ran better routes in his prime than Doug Baldwin was Antonio Brown. Yeah, Davis Mills might be all right. Davis Mills might be okay, but it's just so annoying that we can't smother a dude like that. Could you imagine a guy like Davis Mills playing the 2013 Seahawks defense? The dude would be out of the game by the third quarter. Oh yeah, JS. Every pick has defenders except for when Mike Holmgren drafted David Kurtman. Charisma. He was hurt. AD didn't play because he was hurt. um, Probably Devonte Adams, Ethan. I think Adams is probably a little better. Adams, to me, could end up in the Hall of Fame the way things are going. Baldwin's not gonna get there. Yeah, Al Woods is balling out, man. Al Woods is balling out of control. It sucks that he's 36 because you know it's not going to last forever. We're not trading Jamal Adams. It costs more money to trade him than it does to keep him. Forget about that. Martin Bedino, thank you for the 4.99. Knowing Pete, he's probably going to trade Russ for David Johnson in a second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, David Johnson had one amazing year. Okay, he's 34. Okay, that's not as bad. But still, imagine if he was like 26. No, Dante King, I don't want to sign an expensive cornerback. I'm not into that. I think we're misusing some players, Mike P. I don't want to spend the money it's going to take. Puna's good, but he's a one tech. We're trying to play him at three tech right now. It don't work. He's not a pass rusher. Trevor, not good enough. I don't. I'm over the Tua thing. I used to like him, but I don't think he's good. I don't hate the idea, Benny, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how good he is. It doesn't matter how good he is. We know we cannot count on his availability. He's gotten hurt 800 times. Amadi was okay. No, I think DJ Reed's going to leave in free agency. He's a free agent, and I think he's going to get a lot of money. Yeah, I know, pretentious Cameron. Not going well. Yeah, I don't think DJ's going to be back. I think he's having a great year, and someone's going to give him a bunch of money. Like, you guys got to understand, DJ Reed is doing this with no pass rush. That's pretty incredible. Nobody's going to trade for Penny. He can't stay healthy. And he's a free agent after this season anyway. Jacob Kessinger, thank you for the $5. Asked Brandon this earlier, but would you sign Penny to a 1 year, $2 million prove it deal after today? I would give him 1 year veteran minimum. 1 year veteran minimum, Jacob. I would do that. And you would have to make him like your fourth string running back, but I would do that, I guess. Like, there's no real risk. You can't depend on him at all. Even if he runs for 200 yards a game, you know that the next play could be it for 6 weeks because he stepped on a nail. Like, it's not like the problem with Penny has been talent, it's been the fact that he can't stay healthy. That doesn't go away. So I'm not crazy about that. Washington still plays Dallas one more time. Who else does Washington play? Wow, we've got 5 teams at 6 and 7. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, we need all these teams to lose at least 1 or 2 games. Like, it's so much to ask, bro. Like, it feels stupid to even talk about it sometimes. Yeah, I remember that pretentious Cameron. I think Chris Carson's going to retire, Mike. He probably should. David, I don't know about that, man. He's having a pretty extraordinary year. Wait, no, wait. You can't return an onside kick. It's dead at the point of recovery. That can't be right. No, you can't return an onside kick for a touchdown. Yeah, the ball is dead. Like that's not a touchdown, right? Oh, no, no, no. You can return it if you're the receiving team. You can't return it if you're the kicking team, Cheeseburger Man. Yeah, yeah, okay. You can't return it. Yeah, I knew it. Oh, it was touched by the Packer player. Okay, but they're saying he can't return it. Huh? Okay, so they're giving him the ball there. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't return as the kicking team on an onside. You can return it if you're the receiving team. Well, that's a big difference, Emmett. If they had scored a touchdown there, this game suddenly gets a little interesting. Now it's not. It gets at least a tiny bit interesting. S. Dobby, Stone didn't play because Dwayne Brown was playing, and Stone's natural position is left tackle. I haven't seen PFF grades yet. You might be able to find them from Brandon. He usually posts that stuff. Yeah, smoking Sunny D, but we've seen quarterbacks like Drew Brees and Kyler Murray pull it off, so I don't think that's an excuse. It is something that makes it harder, but it's not something that should make it impossible. Yeah, Mike P, like there's just way too much. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be really hard to get them, Dante. I don't see much in free agency unless you want to go get Clowney. Like you could get Clowney, but other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot that I'm impressed with. Like you're talking about like Dante Fowler Jr. I think DJ Dallas is all right, Benny, but I haven't seen enough to judge. Yeah, if the Rams lose, the divisional race is pretty much over. Yeah, Cardinals blew the Rams out. Wasn't Jaimon the name of the demon from Hereditary? There's a guy in here named Jaimon's Outdoors. Wasn't that the name of the Demon King from Hereditary? I feel like it was. Oh, Paimon. Okay. Okay, JS. Thank you. Oh, interception. Ball game. Yeah, something's. Yeah, Claypool's a weirdo. And it's so hard for these coaches to find a way to deal with these players when they do stuff like that. Like, feels like some of them feel like they don't have the power to just say, you know what? If I hear any more shit from you, I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah, JS, I've read that apparently Hereditary was written to just be a movie about trauma of losing a family losing their daughter. And then when they brought it to the executives, they were like, hey, can you make this about demons and supernatural horror? Which, given that fact, is kind of amazing the movie ended up being pretty good. Like, that should be a killer. The fact that the studio's meddling to that degree, that should kill the movie. Okay, there's only one game on right now, and I don't think I get it. Yeah, guys, don't worry. The DK stuff will come. I'm not worried about that part of it. I gotta be honest with you guys. All right, so that's the game, and that'll be the end of the stream. Jaimon's Outdoors, this is your shout out. I don't think the Kraken are playing. They played yesterday. No, they're not playing tonight. They're playing Tuesday. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. I will be streaming Persona in a little bit. You can come by and talk more Seahawks if you want to. And hopefully, I'll see you guys there. Go Hawks.